This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to one of our next Indiana Civics Coalition meeting. It's great looking around the room. Numbers I'm getting probably upwards of 30 people almost being able to be a part of this. As we've talked about with our coalition meetings before, really keeping the ideas of the three pillars of awareness of each other, awareness of what everybody's doing, how to make sure we collaborate, build capacity with each other, and how to amplify each other's work so we can make sure we keep going and moving forward. Um, Again, looking around the room, right now I've got 28, but 28 different organizations, groups, people, individuals that want to keep doing things together and do good work and ways we can just stay involved and with everybody. And so I know I appreciate at least these periodic check-ins and meetings and just being aware of what everybody else is doing. So this is our welcome to everybody, and we're glad we're all here. Similar to kind of the format I think we've started the last few times, we're going to do a few spotlights of different organizations so everybody can kind of hear from different groups and individuals that are what's going on, ways we can work together, things that different organizations are excited to showcase of what's going on, and be able to do that. But we want to start with Diana Leo. She's coming in from iCivics because she's one of the leading point people. Welcome to Civic Learning Week. It's a relatively new initiative that's been pushed out. It's been taking place for 2 or 3 years or so. I'll let Diana kind of give more information here. But just try to bring everybody together and be a week of civic mindedness and togetherness through civics. And there are a lot of events going around the country. Diana, let me turn it over to you and introduce us to Civic Learning Week.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for the time, y'all. Thanks for the warm introduction, Tim. As Tim said, my name is Diana, and I'm with iCivics. I am the state policy lead in the Southwest region. So the states that I handle are Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico. So for me, it's still morning. So I apologize if you think that I'm greeting y'all with a good morning. It is morning here. So thank you so much. I've put together a slide deck. Is it okay if I share my screen?
It is, and it should be open for you. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Let me finagle. I'm going to be presenting and also in the driver's seat. So hold on just a minute. All right. Are you guys able to see that?
Gotcha. Yep.
Cool. Well, I want to take this opportunity to invite you to join us for the week's multitude of events, including our third annual National Forum to be held on Thursday, March 13th at the Hoover Institution at Stanford University. Throughout the week, as Tim had said, there are going to be unique opportunities for educators, students, and civic leaders across the nation to get involved. And this year's National Forum themed Civic Learning, Many Voices, One Nation. It anchors the week and will feature students' passion for civic education and leaders in the field. And Sharon McMahon, which you guys may or may not already follow, her Instagram handle is Sharon Says So, also a New York Times bestselling author, and will be at the event. So Civic Learning Week this year is from March 10th through the 14th. And about Civic Learning Week, like I said, it's the third year, and it's hosted annually by iCivics. And it seeks to highlight the importance of civic education in sustaining and strengthening constitutional democracy in the United States by highlighting the civic knowledge, skills, and dispositions that provide the foundation for an informed and engaged populace. Civic Learning Week seeks to further energize the movement to prioritize civic and education across the nation. And like I said, there's something for everyone. For educators, they can provide insight, inspiration, sharing the latest effective teaching practices and innovations, and joining in shared civic learning opportunities throughout the week. There's something for students, engage in shared learning opportunities throughout the week with other students across the nation. And there's going to be another huge thing, which I will announce later, on like how students can get involved, not just like peer to peer. And then community members, all of you guys communicate in a series of events to highlight the key role different groups like business leaders, members of the military, and in play in ensuring high quality civic education is accessible for each and every student across the nation. So the Civic Learning Week National Forum is held this Thursday. So if you guys haven't signed up already, please do so. There's a virtual component of it, and it starts at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. This event will explore the importance of pluralistic civic engagement, civic education, and what looks like in practice, and the leadership needed to make high quality civic education a nationwide priority. Featured speakers include Condoleezza Rice, who is the director of the Hoover Institution and the 66th U.S. Secretary of State, the Honorable Spencer J. Cox, my governor, Sharon McMahon, America's government teacher, author, and podcast host, and many more accolades. Anyone can join us through the live stream through Civic Learning Week. Just register on civiclearningweek.org. And then when I mentioned something for students, Justice Sotomayor is going to have a conversation on Friday, March 14th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And she serves on the iCivics Governing Board, and students will join Justice Sotomayor in a discussion about civic education. And then there is a map of the United States, which we really dialed in on your neighboring areas. And so there are public events and participating schools events. And so check your listings on our website for events hosted by our coalition partners, and other events may require registration or only allow virtual attendance. And then for the participating schools, I know in Utah, we have one of our regional National History Day, like regional contest. And that's not exactly public, but like if you want to become a judge, you can sign up, go through the vetting process. So we do have that. So it could be marked private. So I'm not sure where your state is, but you can go ahead and see how classrooms across the country are celebrating Civic Learning Week. And then lastly, here is a list of call to action things that you can do. There are a number of easy ways that you can get involved during Civic Learning Week, including sharing your own stories, using our Take Action feature on the Civics Now website, and staying informed and bringing Civic Learning Week into classrooms. And that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for the time.
Thanks. And as Diana mentioned, there's a lot of different public events that are online that other states are putting together. Take a look at that website, civiclearningweek.org. Find all those events. Sign up if you're able to, if you're interested in that. It's a great way to feel a community of civics throughout the country for this week. Want to do a couple spotlights for some Indiana-based organizations here. Those that have reached out and said they had something they want to share. Let's start. The League of Women Voters, Indianapolis, and Barb, do you want to go first?
Thank you. Thanks very much, Tim. I am Barb Tully with the League of Women Voters of Indiana. I'm on the board and also on the board of the Indianapolis League. The Indianapolis League, this is a particular focus that the Indianapolis League has. We mainly work on voter rights issues, voting registration, voter education. And as part of that work, the first thing we do is go to all the naturalization ceremonies in Indianapolis, 3 or 4 a month, 44 a year, about 100 new citizens at each one. So if you ever want to come and help us register voters, just look on the lwvindy.org webpage events, and you can sign up and help us with voter registration. It's rewarding. Second thing we do is we reach out to high schools twice a year in the spring and the fall. And this being a year where we don't have elections in Indiana, we still reach out to high schools. So I'm just talking about Marion County high schools now. We have connections with social studies teachers in many of the high schools, not so much in the bottom third of Marion County, to be honest. So we need to do some work in Decatur and Franklin townships. So if anybody has any connections, you need to message me. So we do it just a normal education. We try to get into government classes, like here's how you register to vote, why it's important to vote, yada, yada. We do that every spring and fall. But 2 years ago, a couple of us from the league came up with something that we're calling voting advocates. And we felt like peer-to-peer interaction between students would help other students to see that they needed to vote. So we provide a mentor per school. We were in 4 schools last spring, and we were in 5 high schools in the fall. We had a teacher sponsor for each, although frankly, the teacher sponsor really didn't need to know anything or do anything for us. We had 1 mentor per school to help the students. We provided the content for them that they pushed out over Instagram. Important election dates, the voter registration deadline is coming up, et cetera, et cetera. And we provide a binder of information with a lot of QR codes. Here's where the Indiana Voters website is. Here's where the Indy League 411 or the League's 411 website is, so you can get a good election information. Here's how you register to be an election worker. Here's the deadlines. Here's all the stuff about college student voting. The first year we were kind of self-funded. Many of us made donations. We do pay the students a stipend at the end of the semester if they met the work. It's only $400, but you know, a couple hours a week at the most from students through the beginning of the semester, or hopefully near the beginning of the semester through election day when we have elections. We were kind enough, or the Indiana Bar Foundation was kind enough to give us some money last year. We're very, very appreciative of that. We also got a small grant from the Colts Foundation, and there are others that we're talking to that we could get some more money, but we are also looking for mentors. We need adults per school, an adult at least per school, to help mentor those students so they understand this is what you need to do. Here's the content you're going to get once a week. Let's talk about how you're going to post it. Let's develop your elevator speech. So when you go to talk to your school or your administration or your school board or different teachers to get into their classrooms, this is how you talk about elections and the importance of elections and how you meet objections to elections. And those students are on the ground in the schools all the time. The students that have participated in the past have felt very rewarded by this, and you know, frankly, it beefs up their resume a bit if they're applying for higher education, for instance. So I would take any questions, and if anybody's interested, they can contact me on this. You know, just message me on this and give me your information, and I will reach out to you. Thank you so much for the time, Tim. I appreciate it.
I was muted. And thank you, Barb. And it makes me think of one of the things I forgot at the top of this. We didn't do any kind of e-introductions or anything like that, but if you are interested, please share your name and an email or something like that in that chat, just so we're able to kind of make sure we have that record and people can see and put names and emails and faces together. Here's what I'll also say. We can do a better job. We plan to do a better job of making sure we get those connections there. So all those that are registered for this, we'll make sure those names and emails go out to everybody as well, that you're able to connect there. Try to make our website or the coalition part of our website a better resource for everybody. It's one of those things that we know we can do a better job with it, but for now, let's start that. If you're interested, drop your name, email, and such, organization in the chat, just so everybody can kind of see that. If you're interested to have that record, we will keep doing better, making sure we're able to collaborate with it as well. Going down a list of another organization that's excited to share. Anne, would you like to go next? Anne is with the Indiana Court of Appeals.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. Hi, everybody. I'm Ann Fuchs with the Court of Appeals of Indiana, and I'm going to try to figure out how to share my screen here real quick. Most of you know me as the Appeals on Wheels lady, and those of you who haven't met me yet, that is what I do. I run the court's traveling oral argument program, and we head around the state bringing civics education opportunities to whatever school will invite us there. But this time we're doing something a little different. We did this just on Friday, and I'm really hopeful that this is working for you. How's that?
Showing that there we go. It's popped up now.
Popping up? Okay. Well, somehow I'm just going through all my slides way too quick. Sorry, guys. Let's try that again. So we did an event on Friday in the Supreme Court. We brought together all of our legislative interns from the Indiana House and Senate, both sides of the aisle. And I want to share this with all of you because I think it was a pretty special opportunity. And I kind of want to just put it out there in case it sparks any ideas or interest for anybody else. We had a great oral argument that was attended by about 100 of these interns. And this thing is just not working. So I'm going to turn it off and we're just going to talk. Hopefully you saw a few pictures. Sorry, guys. We got everybody in the courtroom. We had a wonderful time hearing their questions and what it is that they're interested in learning about the process. And both sides of the aisle had really interesting things to say, really great questions about how the judiciary works. And we're obviously very dedicated to that branch of government and making sure people understand it, understand its value, its importance, and also what it contributes to the process at large. So putting that out there and also letting you all know that as we come closer to our 250 years celebration in July 2026, I am looking for partners and ideas, very interested in figuring out ways that this kind of programming can be leveraged to ensure that we're really getting everybody on the same page and talking about themes of common ground building, civil discourse, building good relationships in government and in society and staying engaged. So I'm going to just throw my message up in the chat. And if you all would be so kind as to email me if you have ideas or partnerships, I would really appreciate it. That's all I got, Tim. Sorry about my screwed up PowerPoint.
All good. It's all good stuff that's happening out there too. As you kind of leading in from what you said, the new meetings, the new partnerships, and everything that way. I want to kind of turn next to Beth from the Historical Society. I know we had a conversation about new partnerships, new organizations you're working with, and anything you want to share with that too.
Yeah, well, and to start with, I'm actually going to lean back a little bit on what Ann was just talking about. One of the things that I do in my programming is homeschool programming. And so I am looking right now to fill my homeschool workshops for the 25-26 academic year, particularly looking at the spring of like a year from now, right? And so, for example, this year, one of the workshops that we're doing in May, we are looking at citizenship. And so who is a citizen? What is a citizen? As we start to get into celebrating America 250. So those are 2-hour workshops. I just dropped my contact information in too. So if you're like, hey, that would be I have a program ready-made that I could take over to IHS. Let's chat about that. And then the other things that we are doing coming up, actually, Diana had mentioned National History Day, so better say that too. This weekend is our last regional contest for the state of Indiana. We run the National History Day program over here. So that is at Carmel High School if you wanted to see it for Civics Week. But more importantly, the state contest is April 26th. So if you want to get involved in that way, there's opportunities there. But then moving on to the other things we're doing, I didn't realize we were doing so much. So we are participating in Civics Season. Civics Season is kind of a new thought process going on that is Juneteenth to July 4th, right? So our newest federal holiday to our oldest. Is that accurate? Yeah. And we partner with Made by Us for this. I joined in this program last year for the first time because it was a really low lift for me to put on a program. We did Slice of History. They have several different program opportunities. Their focus, Made by Us, is on Gen Z, or like that 18 to 30-year-old age range, somewhere in there. And so I picked up a program that they kind of had ready-made. They provide pizza, but from pizza to the polls. And then they ended up providing a ton of like giveaways and things like that for us too. I got to meet with their advisory committees and their ambassadors, and they helped me plan out the entire program. It cost me maybe $150 total to put on the program, and we were able to feed everybody dinner and have a ton of different activities going on for young adults. So if you are like, hey, I would like to do some more programming, but I'm really at max capacity, I would really recommend looking into Made by Us as a partner organization to kind of help out. We also have a Midwest coalition within the Made by Us community. So all of us that are doing programs during civic season, we're able to talk to each other and kind of see what we're all doing. Our program this year, if you're interested, is going to be Tuesday, June 28th. And it is again Slice of History, so it's a pizza party. And we're doing it as a game night theme. But the real theme of this is who is Jerry and what is he mandering? So that we can talk about gerrymandering and maps of Indiana. We're going to look at congressional districts. It's going to be a fun time. And we've got all kinds of board games. We have used iCivics games in the past as well on our computers. We kind of integrate a lot of different things. So if you're looking for some partnerships, my email is there. I'll drop a couple of these other links in too. And I'd love to chat more about it. Thanks.
Thanks. And I know several people also dropped in the chat that they've had judging and relationships with the National History Day. I did the same thing. I came and judged the Indianapolis Public Schools History Day competition. It's a lot of fun. Definitely just another way that we can keep working together with all of our different groups here. Thank you, Beth. Chuck, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about some of the things that we're doing here with the Bar Foundation.
Thank you. I will be as expeditious as I can, but it's so great to see everybody on this call. Thanks for joining us. There's so much going on, and this is really one of the main goals that we have is have everybody learn about what's going on and where they might be able to collaborate and plug in with each other. So a couple things I just want to announce first. We have a new staff member here at the Bar Foundation, Amelia Miller, who is on this call. You may interact with her as things progress and as our continued partnerships continue and evolve. So welcome to Amelia. I think she's been here, I don't know, maybe a month or so, give or take. So she hasn't left yet, so that's good. We haven't overwhelmed her. So a couple other updates on the Bar Foundation side of things. We just got done over the weekend yesterday with Indiana High School mock trial. Judge Feltz, I see you here and several other folks who were involved with that. So we had about 60 schools from around the state that competed in regionals, and then leading up to this weekend, we had 24 teams that came out of that went to our state competition. So that's always great. We had 2 teams, one from Signature School in the Evansville area, if anybody's here from Evansville, competing against Trinity High School from the South Bend area. So we had both ends of the state represented, and Trinity High School won. So that was very exciting. And they will be representing Indiana at the national competition in Phoenix, Arizona here in a few weeks. Also, something else just generally about the Bar Foundation, if you're interested, this is our 75th anniversary year. So we will be celebrating all of these things during the course of this year, culminating in October 3rd. I should have that more emblazoned in my mind, but October 3rd date, you'll be seeing more about that. If you're interested, we would love for you to join us in that as well. Also, a couple other just updates. Feel free to visit our website as well, where a lot of this information is. But we have a professional development on April 5th, and we're collaborating with the Jack Miller Center, which is out of Philadelphia. So we're excited, and it's on original source documents. So I know there's a lot of people on this call that would enjoy that. And if you have, feel free to send this to your network. It's free of charge. It's for high school teachers. It's for, I guess, really K-12 teachers. I think mostly middle school and high school will be the target audience, but we'd love for as many to join us as possible. We also have our Summer Institute for We the People, which is going to be June 22nd through 26th, again, at no cost. And we're going to be bringing in scholars from around the country as well to help support that. We're excited about that. We also have an elementary We the People showcase May 2nd. if you've ever seen or never seen fifth graders talk about the common good and cool things like that, it's really enjoyable. The interesting part, at least from my perspective, is there's often no filter or a different filter than you might get with somebody a little bit older. So you never know what you're going to get when you talk civics with a fifth grader, but it's fun. So I encourage you, if you're interested in participating in that, please join us or let us know and to volunteer for that. One other one that I wanted to mention is the ESC Central Indiana tie-in, which for those of you that may not know, it's a great opportunity to get high school teachers connected with your organization. We did one last year in collaboration with the Prindle Center, Ethics Center, and the State Bar Association, our colleagues there. But this year we're going to be doing one on our own. Well, not on our own. We're going to be doing one with Anne and the Court of Appeals. So once again, collaborating, but we'll be doing it with Anne and the Court of Appeals to have an oral argument. And then the great thing, there's so many good things about it, but the teachers love meeting the judges love meeting the teachers. And it's just a great opportunity to hear and see a real oral argument and then be able to talk with the judges afterwards, not about that particular oral argument, but about the process and some areas that the teachers don't necessarily always have a full understanding about. And so we're able to partner with Anne and, as I said in the chat, her award-winning Appeals on Wheels program. And it's not really on wheels, though. We're going to the State House, so it's just appeals, no wheels. But we will be there. Our people will be on the wheels coming in. So that'll be exciting. Just a couple other real quick things. Our summit, which I'm not going to talk much about because it's later on the agenda, but we do have an exciting Civic Summit coming April 17th. And we have a great speaker, and I think Tim will talk more about that coming up. So I think that's it. Any questions or anything, feel free to put them in the chat and I'll try to answer them. But it's great to see everybody. Lots of exciting things going on, and look forward to hearing more reports. So back to you, Tim.
Awesome. Thank you. One more organizational spotlight for at least today. Sam, I think you're next on my list if you want to talk about Indiana Humanities.
Thanks so much, Tim. Hi, everybody. My name's Sam Opsel, and I work on the programming team at Indiana Humanities. If you've not interacted with my organization before, we are Indiana's State Humanities Council. Every state and territory in the United States has a humanities council to do awesome humanities work. We fill a variety of roles. We serve as a storyteller through our amazing comms team. We're a grant maker and can fund programming related to the humanities. And then the team I'm on programs, we do a lot of work to organize events and get people in conversation. And all three of these roles kind of combine to make what we think of as Indiana Humanities as a convener here in our state and bringing Hoosiers together to have great, important, and fun conversations, hopefully. At Indiana Humanities, we organize a lot of our work by a theme. We're finishing up an environmentally focused theme right now called Unearth. That was a lot of fun to do. And for a while now, we've had our eyes on a civics and democracy theme as our next kind of focus as an organization. So we're still putting that together and aiming for a launch during civic season, like Beth said, later this year. So we're very excited for that. And one of the projects I'll tell you about today that we are launching this year and will continue on through 2026 is called Voices and Votes. Voices and Votes is a traveling Smithsonian exhibit through their Museum on Main Street program. Back several years ago, the Smithsonian did a study, and they found as they were looking around that while they have so many people coming to DC to see their museums, there are several people or several hundreds, thousands of people that will never make it to a Smithsonian exhibit in their lifetime. And so they thought, how do we reach those people? And they developed this traveling exhibit program. And the one we will be touring through Indiana throughout 2026 is called Voices and Votes, and it looks at how civics, democracy, voting, community all play a role in community. Voices and Votes will be going to 6 Indiana communities. Each of these communities are capped at having a population of 15,000 or less. So it's a very rural focused program, which we super love. We just closed our application portal recently and are reviewing those right now. So expect later in April, we'll announce who our 6 communities are. But over the next year before that exhibit hits the road, we are going to be doing monthly trainings and workshops with folks So if that's something you're interested in supporting or being a part of, feel free to email me. I'll drop it in the chat. But we're really excited to not only use this as an opportunity to have conversations with Hoosiers about the role of civics and democracy within their community, but also build them up, put tools in their toolkit so that this is a long-lasting story for their community and builds partnerships for them as they move forward. But yeah, I'm really excited for it. I'll drop my information in the chat. I think that's all I have, Tim.
Awesome. Thanks. That's just about five or six different spotlight organizations looking around this digital room. There's definitely more organizations and more individuals than everybody here. Just a few spotlights there. So again, um, we'll encourage everybody to just keep talking with each other, find what's going on, how to keep partnering up, find the connection pieces. Just seeing some of the faces around the room and hearing those spotlights. Definitely, it looks like there's a lot of facial interest in what's going on. And so, how do we make sure we keep those partnerships together? So, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to do that better job. Soon as when this meeting's done, and we can get this downloaded and back up to the YouTube channel, we'll make sure we get this link out to everybody. We'll get those names and emails out to everybody so you get a chance to keep partnering up. But look at the organizations listed in the chat and everything, visit the websites, and we can keep going from there to make those better opportunities for working together. Speaking of working together and being together leads me to the next piece that I know we want to talk together, and that's our Civics Summit. Zoom is great, and being in person can feel even better with that too. So April 17th, it's going to be here in Indianapolis. I'm going to drop in the chat a link to that webpage. We're excited to bring up our third annual Civics Summit. We like this to be able to be a gathering and actually get some face-to-face networking time and learn from each other. We are really excited for our keynote speaker. We are able to get Jeff Rosen that's coming in from the National Constitution Center. So all attendees will get a chance to hear him be one of the keynoters. We are giving all the attendees a copy of his book. So you'll have that, and he will be available for a portion of the time to sign the book. I don't know if you are like me, but I am a sucker for any author signed book. So I think that is going to be a great opportunity there. We also have a couple sessions in there of different things. We're going to talk a little America 250, and based on a lot of the feedback as well that we've gotten from past summits and from conversations all around, a good chunk of time to hear from students and teachers about specific youth and student programming and engagement as well. And so really getting that voice, the student voice and that educator voice, more prominence within the summit as well. So we're really excited for that, being a part of that. Truly appreciative of the organizations that are helping to sponsor this year's summit. Eli Lilly Company and Foundation, the Civics Now Coalition, the IU Center on Representative Government, Sagamore Institute, Ball State University, all of are helping to provide the support and backing for this as the summit. And it should be good. We're getting everything finalized. Please take a look at that website. If you want to help spread the word with this too, I know we've at least put out a press release, but if we can help make a flyer, we can help do whatever. If you got newsletters, if you've got a listserv, if you've got something, we would truly appreciate getting the word out for this. We'd like to make this continually growing in the summit. The other thing I'll add too is any of the organizations here, any of these other civic-minded organizations that you work with, know of, please have them reach out to me because we will provide exhibit table space at that as well. So there will be a time specifically for that. So not just some informal networking time, but table space to come and showcase what your organizations do, talk to people, gather those new contacts, all the pieces with that too. So We want to be able to make sure that we find this summit useful to really meet the goals of awareness of each other, collaboration with each other, amplify what each other's doing, and going that way. Let me pause. Any questions on the summit? Chuck, if you can think of anything I forgot or any others around the room of questions, thoughts?
I just want to say it's a great opportunity. And this, again, as Tim said, this will be our third one. So we're hoping to build on each one. Great speaker. We have some national organizations and national partners that are going to be there as well. But I just want to underline the partnerships and the sponsorships that we've been able to work together with. I see Teresa on the call from Sagamore, and Kirk and his friends from Center of Government. Now that I've named names, it's bad because I got to keep going, but you know who you are if I'm skipping you. But thank you so much. And I also want to say, while not necessarily the focus of the summit, we're also going to be, it's sort of this summer will be the kickoff of our next Civic Health Index, which will be issued. And so it's never too early to start thinking about that. But again, that may be something we talk about in next year's summit. But until then, thank you all for your support and partnership. And again, we want to use this as a platform for all of us to continue to collaborate and work together and find out how we can continue those collaborations and partnerships. So thank you.
This is Teresa. Tim and Chuck, if we various with people, you're limited to about 250 people in the room, or should we handle the communication possibility?
So I heard some of that, Teresa. Sorry, you were kind of breaking up, but I heard 250. Yes, the max room is in person for about 250 people, and we hope to fill it up. That would be great. We would love to. So invite others. And I'm not sure, Teresa, if you were asking if we're not planning on streaming it or live streaming it or anything. I'm not sure if that was your question or not, but we may have recorded. I don't want to promise anything technically too difficult because I'm not in charge of doing it, and that would be bad because I've done that before. But there is plenty of room right now, so please sign up if you haven't already, and we hope to see you in person. And sorry, Teresa, if I didn't get quite the thrust of your question.
I'm sorry that I'm breaking up. Am I still breaking up?
You're clear now.
My question, I think you answered. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't extend the invitation to more people than the room could hold if we all are out there telling people about it. So I'm assuming that it's kind of a first come, and if once you reach 250, it cuts off.
Correct. When we get to that point, we will cut it off. And I will say, if we get to that point sooner than we anticipate, maybe we will revisit streaming. But right now, 250 is the max set for the room. And again, I would love to have not an empty chair in the place. So please feel free to distribute it to your network of folks, and we'd love to see you there.
Awesome. If anybody else has any thoughts, questions about the summit, please email, reach out, drop in the chat, speak up, any of those pieces there too. As both Chuck, Teresa mentioned, we're really trying to fill that room, and we're really excited for the programming and especially with getting Jeff Rosen in. Going to be a really good speaker, we believe. And like I said, I'm a sucker for that signed book, so that gets me there enough. The last thing that I had kind of for our group chat, and it was mentioned a couple times along the way, is this America 250 or A250 or the commemoration of our 250th birthday. It's 2026 when that happens. And I know there's plannings going on and for that commemoration all throughout the year. And while it still was it 9 months away or so, those conversations are starting to happen. So as a couple people have mentioned along here, they're happening. Where I kind of want to push this conversation is, please think about that, even though it feels far away till we get to 26, and start having those conversations with each other. Is there a way that we can start that commemoration throughout the year? The different ways we can do it. It doesn't necessarily mean fireworks in the public park, but it's the conversations. It's maybe some inventing. It's collaboration opportunities. And so there's going to be a lot of things going on, big city, small city, rural, urban, all across the state and all across the country. As we started today's meeting, the idea of Civic Learning Week being a way to bring people together to feel civically connected. 2026, I think, is going to do that across the country for an entire year as a way to bring people together as well. So I kind of want to pause to see if anybody is interested or saying, hey, we've got conversations started and you're looking for more collaboration partners. Hey, I'm interested in doing something. See, I haven't even thought about it. What's the 250th party here? Like, I'm just curious as to where people's mindset are, where the organizations might be, if anybody is any willing to share.
One thing I'll mention too is, I think many people know this, but Indiana has a 250 celebration committee that has some folks on it who were appointed previously by under the Holcomb administration, as I believe. So they have some plans and they will be invited to the summit. We're going to be talking about ways that we can really kind of putting on the table just opportunities to collaborate and think creatively about how you might want to interact on that particular opportunity. Nationally, there will be certainly a lot of attention being paid to this. And so it's a great opportunity for all of us, but certainly from each individual's perspective. Thank you, Sam, for the link in the chat. To think about how we might take advantage of that. So just to underline what Tim was saying, feel free. I'm going to, if you have thoughts you would like to share now, please do. And we'll be having more time at the summit to also explore that.
Tim, thank you, Tim and Chuck. I just wanted to mention that Ball State has allocated a small amount of some funding for projects. So I'm working on a course. I need to meet with my chair, but I'm thinking about, I teach foundations of education, and when I teach about Brown v. Board of Education, I teach kind of the history of the 14th Amendment and the idea of equal protection, and so which stems back to the Declaration. So I'm thinking about using that as a catalyst to develop a course. And then also as that course will have a community project. So I don't know what it'll look like, but I would just like to say I would love to collaborate with others and build a network around that.
Hey, Tim, this is Kirk White in Bloomington, and good afternoon, everybody. One of the things we found is our local historical society has reached out to us. So that's a great place to partner, is to talk to them in your counties or the areas where you serve, because they're looking for good partners, and all of us are. We've got resources that can help them, and it'd be a great team effort. So we found some success with that.
Love the ideas.
That's exciting, seeing the chat on the new archives building. That's very cool.
Just doing my pause time, my teacher wait time, to see if anybody else gets the gumption to be able to say anything. If there's anything out there to say there too that you want to talk about.
This is Jill. I just started at the State Archives, and sorry, I'm at the idle drawer. It gets kind of loud. It's usually pretty quiet here, but I just started in October, and I have some small spaces in the design for the new archives that will include some exhibit areas, some tech components, there's conference rooms. I'd really like to start reaching out to people and seeing if maybe some of these programs plug in to the new building, or if we can initiate some sort of collaboration.
And one of the things too, again, this is dangerous because I'm just saying this and haven't talked to any of my staff yet, but one of the things we may be able to do is to help to facilitate collaborations and just have a 250, opportunity. So there is a forum for people who are interested in doing this to talk with other people that are interested in doing this in a more focused particular session, either Zoom or some other way, and to help to facilitate that, because I know there's a lot that's going to be happening and a lot of great ideas out there. And again, I think it's stronger when we have partnerships to help support each other.
I dropped a link in the chat for the AASLH kind of their link, and then Sam followed it up before I even could. There's specifically the field guide for the semi-quincentennial, making history at 250. It's just a really great like launching point. So if you're looking at like, yeah, we want to do something for America 250, but I don't even know what that might entail. That is a great tool to kind of like start you thinking about how you might want to do programming. And then county historians, our local history services alongside of Indiana Humanities are definitely out there hitting the pavement as people are planning and very engaged in planning right now. So talking to the local historians, the county historians, things like that is going to be like a great starting point.
And it doesn't, doesn't have to be big events. If you're interested in doing something, the small conversations, the town halls, whatever you've got. I think the idea, as we kind of hear from a greater civic network, is there's going to be a different ways to be able to have this commemoration, and there's no one way and there's no right way, and it's just going to be a good year to just think about what America is. Anybody else maybe about A250, or as we keep shortening it, A250, but a lot of people like calling it, ready, the semi-quincentennial of the United States. So that's also a fun one. How about anybody else for the good of the order? Anything else that's interested with the group?
One thing I'll mention, and again, there are people here from Indiana Philanthropy Alliance. Work with local community foundations too, because I think they're another really great resource. And some of you already have. This is not a new thing for some of you, but if you are exploring ways to get around the state, they are really great, really very well situated and positioned as well to be able to get a local county-based perspective on some things and potentially some funding. So they can also be a great partner. And again, we have some friends from the Indiana Philanthropy Alliance on this call too, so we can make that connection.
Thank you. Anybody else for good of the order there? Oh, okay. I hope people found this useful. Again, we'll get this recorded. We will get this out. We will start sharing the emails. You've got emails in the chat. Hopefully, again, are three pillars that we keep thinking about with our coalition: awareness, collaboration, amplification. Being able to kind of just help each other do more all around the state as it comes to civics and history and everything there too. So I'll keep this open for a little bit in case anybody does want to kind of chat or have some of those smaller conversations or anything like this. Keep it open for a little bit, but appreciate everybody's time. Hope we got another chance to talk with everybody, and let's do this again at the summit coming up April 17th. Thank you, everybody.